Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this.
Those guys that win and then they don't say anything. It's like the worst.
No.
They
Not
just
these
don't
guys.
say anything and they just let you marinate in it. That's Doster one of those guys.
No,
No.
he is not. No, he is not.
Hey, my kids came to this game tonight, right? And they were sitting right. I bought them tickets right behind the media section, and they came down with like at the under 4 timeout because they knew Jarrell was a Marquette player, and they came down and they would start rubbing it in his face. He was like, "How's Marquette doing?"
Oh,
My
man.
daughter came down. And
You can't go back at the kids.
Apples don't fall far from the tree. I said, look, I couldn't even do
Can't
that.
go back at the kids. That's just
No,
that's
we
just
do.
me.
And
We
stop
have
lying
fun
to the
with it.
people. We don't do that. You didn't buy those tickets. They gave them to you.
They gave-
I bought the tickets.
You don't want to
I bought the tickets. You didn't buy those damn
You don't want to know how much
tickets.
those cost either, man. That sucks. That was bad. But let's talk about the game though. So UConn pulls it out. It was I don't even know what the final was. I didn't even see what the final score was. It was like 16 by then. It wasn't that close. No one was paying attention.
It
to the
wasn't
score
as
at that
close.
point.
Yeah, it was close through the first half, but
What'd you see? Break it down.
You
for
know
me.
what? I think UConn's depth, and I had said this on the broadcast, their depth, they got quality depth.
Yes.
Mhm.
So when Jalen Anderson comes in and like he's got 9 points since he did it yesterday in the first half. Steph Castle gets 2 fouls. He comes in the game. He has 8 points in the first half, and everybody's looking around. It's like the recruit when you flip it through the pages trying to figure out who that guy is. Right? And then Hassan Diarra comes in and makes a couple threes. Samson Johnson changes the game every time he checks into the ball game. So it's not just bodies out there taking, it's quality depth that you got to account for all of them. And I don't know, there's when you think about the other top teams in the country right now, who has that level. So when you get to the third game on the third day, that prevails. I think like a Houston, Purdue, like they don't have that depth, so they're a little bit tired on that third day in a row. So you could see it. And obviously you take Marquette without Kolek, without Sean Jones, and Stevie Mitchell with a shoulder injury. He's trying to battle.
They're
But
banged up, man. It's
just the quality
really
of
banged up,
the depth, UConn wins out, and that's what's going to make them strong and hard to put out here, when the tournament comes around. They're the only one. You think about the Big East, like if they had to play without Tristan Newton, you'd probably still be okay. But if you take a Tyler Kolek out, if you take a Baylor Shireman out, if you take an LJ Cryer
There's
out,
not another team in the country, I
is
feel.
there another team in the country
that you
where,
could
like,
take a starter out of that quality and then we'd all
and
feel
they had
good
to
we've
do
about
it
seen
with
it with
multiple guys. Klingon didn't play it still.
Mhm.
Right?
Castle was time to
Caravan
start
was
it.
out. Still did it. Castle was out early.
it. Didn't matter.
You lose to Kansas by 3 with no Castle. It's like, well,
yeah,
it's hard to go into Allen Fieldhouse, and so I think that is the thing that stands out to me about Connecticut. Now that makes you feel good, Rob.
No, it does.
Of course it does.
It does.
Yeah,
He's
I
over there.
couldn't-
He's
couldn't-
music to his ears.
couldn't have said it better myself. That's what he's thinking. But I mean, I was proud still of the fight that the Marquette guys came with. Like you said, just those guys are banged up. Even Oso's a little bit banged up. I don't think he ended up finishing the game. He sat like the last 5 or 6 minutes, partially because Bingo was
Started making
make
shots.
a couple shots too. But I think he had like a heating pack or something on his knee. So all of those guys are a little bit banged up. But man, they fought that first half. It was an ugly game. The first 10, 12 minutes of that game, and nobody could seem to make a shot.
It was
or a
2-2.
layup.
It was 2-2 with 12
Oh my
minutes
god!
left.
Yeah, it was like a rock fight early on, and but they grinded it out. I think it was a 2-point game at halftime because Newton hit that last 3. So they kept it relatively close, man. And just for me, it speaks volume. Just to, like we talked about the last couple of days, just the culture of the team, though, man. Those guys strap it on. They show up every single night. Doesn't matter who's in or out. You're gonna get max effort from everybody, and I think hopefully. Going into the tournament too, this will kind of be an uplifting thing for some of those young guys. Trey Norman can play, man.
Yeah, he's good.
Zay Lowry can play, man.
He was the guy when I went to their early practices. Him and Jop got into it a little bit, and I'm like, oh, he got a little fire. He got a little dog to him. And I said this to Shaka. Now he's got a serviceable shot. And Beeline used to always talk about this, like, hey, when we get around this time of year, we're going to need some outliers, a Spike Albrecht, or like somebody, like Zay Lowry coming in making 2 threes tonight. I think those moments, same as Jalen Anderson for Connect, like those moments are huge because Tyler won't be like maybe at his best coming right back into play. So you're going to need some of those guys to come in. And now they have some confidence, right, to step in and do it. And coaches trust, right, to sub them in there. It's like, hey, my man stepped in on the biggest stage with the brightest lights and nailed a couple.
Let me tell you about our newest partner for the month of March, SplashSports, the home of certified community competition, where you get to play against your friends and not the house. Whatever game it is that you are playing, from survivors to tiers to pick X, the safest way to play for real money without the hassle of having to track down deposits or worry about payments is through Splash. They have partnered with PaySafe, the best deposit and payment system in the world, to ensure that money stays in safe hands and is delivered to the right places. To join the Field of 68 Survivor Madness, click the link in our profile below and join in. Entries are $5 a pop with a prize pool of up to $4,500. Winner take all.
Well, I mean, that was the thing with Stewart specifically, Jalen Stewart specifically, was like he didn't have confidence early in the year, right? Like you saw him come in and he'd blow a defensive assignment, and then he get the ball and he'd shoot an air ball, and then he immediately get yanked. And it took him a while to get there. And then last night he had the 8 points in the first half, and that UConn needed those 8 points, right? They needed that run, that boost to kind of get them going. Then tonight he bangs a 3 in the first half, banks that one in, and then hits the 3 in the corner. And you see him as he's running back, like he's talking to the bench and he's making all the fades. He's like, he's feeling himself. Like it got him going.
Those were the 3 biggest shots for me of the game. Like that was
they started knocking them threes. They went on that 3-point barrage.
But you could tell always, and y'all both know this as well as from players, just like some guys that's on that scouting report where it's like he can make it, but he's a short closeout.
He's the guy.
I saw how they was running that.
You got to make him make 2 before he ran out.
Exactly, RC. And it's like, look,
and
he made them first 2.
Because I thought that was part of the problem. He knocked the threes down. It was kind of
you saw the look like.
You saw that the reaction was kind of like, hey, man.
He going to do that.
I did what you told me to do. Because as you know, the players look over at you. You be like, close out short. He knocked down 2 threes. I'm looking at you. Hey, all right, coach.
You got to take them. I told him. I
kept saying Jalen Anderson, Jalen Stewart.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this. I want all of your opinions on this, right? I'm going to start with you, Laval, because I've asked them already. What do you have to do to beat UConn? If you're game planning,
that's a good question.
How do you slow them down? How do you stop them?
I think two things have to happen. So when you look at Kansas and Creighton, when they lost at Creighton, they blew up all the action. And now the players got to make plays. You got to make them play one-on-one. You got to make them play. So in those games, and I said this in the broadcast, if they get 20 assists, you're not beating them, right? So the 3 games they lost, Seton Hall, they had 13 assists. Kansas, they had 9. Creighton had 8. They walk out. They had 5 at halftime tonight. Marquette had a great game plan. They're switching ball screens. You got to live with something. So they were living with clinging
on the top
against the switch, and then they tried to wall and be active. And it's a 1 possession, 2 possession game. Second half, their first 11 baskets were assisted. 11 assists on 11 made field goals. Now they're comfortable. They're running their stuff. And that's the UConn team that you have no chance.
You can't beat them when they run their stuff. You got to be able to switch and and change your defenses to do it.
So the issue is, can you sustain it for 40?
Yes.
Because Marquette did it for 20. Seton Hall can sustain it for 40. They play muddy. They muddy it up anyhow. Villanova almost got them.
I don't think you can do one way though. I think that they're the best team in the country at beating you in multiple ways. So you got to be able to do those things and switch them.
So here's what was scary in the Creighton game. In the second half, they just said, okay, we're not going to run anything. We gave Tristan Newton the ball, put him in the pick and roll. He almost brought them back.
He did when they were down by like
So in the tournament, that may happen, and they're just like,
and
hey.
it was the same thing against Kansas, too. They lost that game, but I think he had 31. He hit
But
6
Danny said, okay, we're not running anything anymore. Tristan,
get the ball.
You get it. We'll give you a screen roll, and you bring us back. Because he can't. I mean, he showed it last year through the NCAA tournament run. He can do that. So that's the scary thing.
We talked about that at the championship. He was the best player in that game. Listen, we're going to head to break real quick.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field 68 content.